India is a very strong nation. It has a lot of potentials, but it's a country which is ruled by the caste and not the constitution, and that's why it's a very weak nation.
Though heartening, this is a rare case. In most parts of the country, Gandhiji's dream for the eradication of untouchability remains unfulfilled. The father of the nation himself lived like the poorest, but he wanted the Harijans, as he called the Dalits, to be a part of mainstream society. But in his own home state, time's charkha or wheel does not seem to have moved. So much so that even nomenclature needs to be debated and understood.
Dalit is not an identity of people who belong to a certain caste. Dalit rather is a moral position of people who believe in the equality of all human beings. And therefore, even if you are not born into a certain community, but you believe in, you are a Dalit. And you may be born as something called scheduled caste or untouchable. And if you don't believe in equality, then you are not a Dalit.
A typical morning in the life of Ganga Ben. She sets out with a vessel to do her job. As a manual scavenger, Ganga Ben will roam around the vadas or homes of the Patels, the upper caste section of the village, cleaning other people's excreta. This has been her duty for 50 years, but for the authorities, she does not exist.
We have almost 45 to 50,000 scavengers in Gujarat. And government initially said, when we filed a petition in the High Court, they said the system does not exist in Gujarat. The biggest stumbling block is the government, because most of the people who are employed as scavengers are employed by the government against the law. The government which makes the law to ban the system is the biggest employment agency. How do you fight this?
પણ આ તો અમારો અવતાર છે અને કરવી છે એટલે કામમાં મુશ્કેલી શું અમે વાસીદા વાળી આ પાયખાના લેવી ઈ અમાર મુશ્કેલ ધંધો બીજો કોઈ હાલે નહીં આ કાગળ કામ તમે છોડ દેતા કેમ કામ હું શું કામ છોડો હાડ હાલત કરી છોકરા એમના છોકરાનું કડક મારો કરે એમના છોકરાનું કડક મારો કરે બોલો એમને 4 4 5 5 છોકરા બરોબર હવે ખેતીવાડી હોય તો દાડીએ જાય ને કા બેઠા બેઠા ખાવું ના ખાવું તમારો ખાઈને ચા પાવ ના પાવ હે કોઈ સારું ખાનાર હોય કોઈ મારું ખાનાર આવ્યો એને દેવું કે ના દેવું ઘરે આશરો કરવો કે ના કરવો એમને પેટનું કરે મારું કરે.
You face number of problems with all the major government institutions like banks. There are money available for rehabilitation, but the banks simply don't release the money because the person who is sitting has his own subjectivity, own caste mind, and therefore, for example, this lady is very right. If she gives up, they go hungry because nobody would employ them even as agriculture worker. If they start a shop, nobody would buy anything from them. So what we are doing now is we have started a vocational training education program in a big way, where people, they get trained, they get finance, they get subsidies, loans, whatever it is, but they get into self-employment sector.
And if you thought conditions were different in urban areas, look again. A typical day in the city of Ahmedabad. Amrit Bhai enters a sewage manhole. Cleaning it earns him his daily livelihood. He is employed by the city's municipality, but only as a daily wage worker. No holidays, no compensation for injuries at work.
વાસ હતી બહુ વાસ હતી ગટર વાસ ગંદકી મેં का बहुत मगज आउट कर जाए अपने को कुछ साधन नहीं मिलता है अंदर कोई पट्टा उतरने का डोल है रास्ता है कोई नहाने धोने की कोई सगवट साबु कपूर कुछ मिलता नहीं है क्या वो गटर खोलता था ना तो पलटे मारे तो अगरी आई तो अगरी कपई तो कोई रजा ना मिली.
ये लोगों का ज्यादातर ओपिनियन यही है कि हम लोग ये जो गंदा काम करते हैं और अंदर गैस ट्रबल होती है और बहुत
बदबू होती है, तो इसके लिए हमको ड्रिंक तो करना ही होता है पहले, तो पी के ही अंदर जाते हैं।
मेरे पिताजी को 2-3 इंसान भेजे थे गटर साफ करने के लिए, वो दूसरे इंसान पीले था, पीले बाद अंदर गटर में उतरा और सामने वाला को गैस लग गया। तो मेरा बापू जी बचाने गया तो उसको भी गैस लगा, वो भी गैस में मर गया है। उसकी वारसदार की नौकरी मेरे को मिली है।
If you are poor, then nobody wants to take you seriously in this country. That's why Ambedkar said that we are entering into an age of contradiction. While on paper, in constitution, we are equals, in society, we'll continue to be unequals.
The day ends with collecting leftovers, probably better than what their wages can provide them with.
Children today, because of untouchability in many schools, they are made to sit separately. I have seen number of children who have committed suicide because the teachers harass them because they are Dalit children. They are made to sit them at the last bench. They don't pay attention to them. So these children drop out, and therefore in Gujarat and in the country, the dropout rate of Dalit children from primary education is 50%, and the girl child dropout rate is 64%. So what is going to happen to this generation?
Young Prakash yearns to know how God looks, tucked away in a temple that he dare not enter. Many such stringent rules of segregation and exclusion are imposed on Dalits, and there's no choice but to obey. Else they face the mightiest weapon in the hands of the upper caste, social boycott. Provisions and supplies are stopped. They are slapped, even beaten. In panic, many run away from their villages.
All these people finally migrated. They ran for their life, entire community at 2 o'clock at night. And there were women who were 9 months pregnancy running. I went to visit them. They were lying under the tree and all, and they said, we had very good houses in the village back, but we could never sleep peacefully. Last night, we slept under this tree and we slept peacefully for the first time.
Dalits are not even given legal rights peacefully. According to the government's land reforms, 6,000 acres of land in Surendranagar district were to belong to landless Dalits. But this never became anything more than a futile scribble on legal papers. Navsarjan had to file a public interest litigation to release the lands from the possession of earlier landlords. 3,000 acres have now been given to Dalits. A few years ago, Narsibhai did not have this luxury. Today, he is the proud tiller of his own land. A happy ending for one struggle.